To love a Scorpio is to dance with fire. The passion will ignite your soul, but the shadows will test your heart. And unless you understand what lies beneath the surface, loving a Scorpio may not only break you, it may change you forever. There is a reason why so many people say, once you love a Scorpio, you will never be the same. But why is that? Why is the experience of loving a Scorpio both intoxicating and terrifying? Why do their relationships leave such an unforgettable imprint on those who dare to walk that path? The answer lies in the deep, dark truths about who Scorpios are and how they love. And in this series, we will uncover them all. Welcome to the path to Buddhist wisdom. In this 12-part series, we will explore 21 dark truths about loving a Scorpio, truths that many have felt, but few have dared to speak aloud. We will journey through the shadow side of Scorpio love, the intensity, the loyalty, the obsession, the power plays, the unspoken dangers that come with loving someone ruled by the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation. But be warned, this is not a series for the faint of heart. If you are here to hear that Scorpio love is all light and butterflies, this is not your series. But if you seek to understand the full spectrum of this powerful sign, to embrace both the beauty and the darkness, then you are exactly where you need to be. Why should you care about these dark truths? Because understanding them may save your relationship or your sanity. Because knowing them may allow you to finally make sense of the roller coaster you feel when loving a Scorpio. Because too many people fall into the depths unprepared and lose themselves trying to love someone they never truly understood. Scorpios do not love lightly. They love deeply, dangerously, and often forever. But that love comes with shadows, and unless you can dance with them, you may not survive the relationship intact. In the next 12 episodes, we will peel back the layers of Scorpio love, one truth at a time. Some truths will resonate. Some will challenge you. Some may even disturb you. But through it all, you will gain the wisdom to love a Scorpio fully, or to decide if you dare to love one at all. We will explore why Scorpio love is all or nothing, why they test you constantly, how their jealousy runs deeper than you imagine, and why, no matter how close you think you are, you will never fully own a Scorpio. Each truth will be explored with depth, honesty, and the wisdom of those who have walked this path before you. And trust me, some of the most revealing truths are yet to come. So if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to the Path to Buddhist Wisdom now and turn on the notification bell. This is a series you will want to experience in full, because missing even one truth may leave you unprepared for the powerful love of a Scorpio. And along the way, you may discover not only the darkness within Scorpio, but the light and the shadows within yourself. Remember, love is a mirror, and no sign reflects your deepest fears and desires back to you quite like Scorpio. They will love you with a devotion that borders on obsession. They will test you with emotional storms you never saw coming. And they will challenge you to confront your own shadows, whether you are ready or not. To love a Scorpio is to enter the deepest waters of the human experience. And this series will be your guide through those depths. Welcome back to the Path to Buddhist Wisdom and to part 2 of our series, 21 Dark Truths About Loving a Scorpio. Today, we begin to reveal the first 2 dark truths that define what it truly means to love a Scorpio. These truths are not gentle. They are raw, unspoken forces that shape every Scorpio relationship. If you choose to love a Scorpio, you must face them or risk being consumed by them. Dark truth number 1. Scorpio love is all or nothing. With Scorpio, there is no halfway love. They do not kind of love you. They do not sort of care. They either love you with an intensity that borders on obsession, or they feel nothing at all. This is not a game. It is their nature. When they love, you will know it. You will feel it in every word, every glance, every touch. They will pull you into their world completely, drowning you in passion, loyalty, and depth. But the same force that makes their love so intoxicating also makes it dangerous. Because when that love is broken, when trust is shattered or respect is lost, Scorpio's heart can turn to ice. What was once devotion becomes silence. What was once passion becomes distance. There is no gradual fading. There is only everything or nothing. For many partners, this truth is hard to accept. The highs of Scorpio love feel eternal. The sudden, cold withdrawal feels like death. But this is Scorpio's way of protecting their heart. They give all of themselves, and they demand the same in return. When that balance is broken, they retreat completely. Ask yourself, are you ready for a love that will ask for your soul? Are you prepared to match Scorpio's depth, knowing that anything less may one day leave you with nothing? Dark truth number 2. They test you constantly without warning. If you think winning a Scorpio's love is the end of the journey, think again. It is only the beginning. Because once you are close, the silent tests begin. Scorpios are fiercely protective of their hearts. Trust, to them, is not given. It is earned again and again. And they will test you in ways you may never notice until it is too late. They may observe how you respond to jealousy. They may quietly note whether your actions match your words. They may provoke small emotional reactions just to see how you handle pressure. They may watch how you speak about them when they are not around. And these tests are not occasional. They are constant. Not because Scorpio wants to control you, but because they must be sure. They must know that your loyalty, honesty, and integrity are unwavering. For a Scorpio, betrayal is a wound they may never fully recover from. Many partners fail these tests without even realizing it. A careless word here, a small dishonesty there, and slowly, Scorpios' trust erodes, until the love they once gave so freely is locked away once more. If you love a Scorpio, understand this: you are always being seen. Every action, every choice, every inconsistency is noticed. Ask yourself, can you live with that level of emotional scrutiny? Can you remain authentic, grounded, and worthy of Scorpio's trust? Not just today, but every day? Closing part 2. Loving a Scorpio means embracing extremes. You must be ready to give your all, knowing that Scorpio will offer you nothing less. And you must be prepared to prove your worthiness, time and again, in ways both spoken and silent. These first 2 truths are the foundation of Scorpio love. They will shape every moment of your relationship. They will test your strength, your loyalty, and your ability to love without fear. If you can meet Scorpio on these terms, you may discover a love deeper than any you have known. If not, the shadows may claim you long before the light. In our next episode, we will journey further into the emotional intensity that defines Scorpio love and the possessiveness that can either bind or break a relationship. I'll see you in part 3. This is the path to Buddhist wisdom. Your journey continues. Welcome back to the path to Buddhist wisdom and to part 3 of our series, 21 Dark Truths About Loving a Scorpio. If you've stayed with us this far, you already know that loving a Scorpio is not a gentle path. It is a path of extremes, of loyalty and testing, of passion and pain. Today, we continue this journey by uncovering 2 more dark truths that define the experience of loving a Scorpio. These truths are not spoken aloud in polite conversation, but if you want to survive and thrive in the arms of a Scorpio, you must understand them fully. Dark truth number 3. Scorpio's emotional intensity is overwhelming. To love a Scorpio is to step into an emotional world unlike any other. Scorpios feel everything, deeply, fiercely, completely. Their emotions do not simmer gently beneath the surface. They burn, they crash, they consume. When a Scorpio loves you, their intensity will envelop you. You will feel desired, cherished, and seen in ways that may both thrill and terrify you. But this intensity is not always easy to bear. Scorpios' moods run deep and wide. Their passion can turn to protectiveness, their protectiveness to jealousy. Their love can elevate you to the stars, or pull you into emotional storms you never expected. For many partners, this emotional intensity becomes overwhelming. It is like standing in the path of a tidal wave, knowing you cannot stop it, only ride it or be drowned by it. There will be moments of euphoric connection, unmatched in their depth. And there will be moments of silence, so heavy it feels like suffocation. To love a Scorpio, you must be emotionally resilient. You must be willing to feel deeply, to hold space for their storms without losing yourself. Ask yourself, can you stand in the fire of Scorpio's emotions and not be consumed? Dark truth number 4. They can be dangerously possessive. Behind Scorpio's devotion lies a shadow few speak of: possessiveness. When a Scorpio loves you, they do not love you lightly. They love you as theirs. Their loyalty runs deep, and so does their need to feel secure in your bond. This can manifest as fierce protectiveness, but it can also tip into dangerous possessiveness. Scorpio may struggle with jealousy. They may become suspicious of innocent interactions. They may seek to control, not out of malice, but out of fear of losing what they hold dear. For some partners, this possessiveness can feel suffocating. The desire for freedom clashes with Scorpio's need for certainty. It is not that Scorpio does not trust you. It is that they trust no one fully, not when their heart is on the line. And once their possessiveness is triggered, calming it is no easy task. Logic will not suffice. Only consistent reassurance, unwavering loyalty, and deep emotional transparency can soothe their fears. Ask yourself, can you honor Scorpio's need for deep emotional security without losing your own sense of self? Because if you cannot, the bond will slowly erode under the weight of unspoken fears and unrelenting control. Closing part 3. Emotional intensity that overwhelms. Possessiveness that can smother even the strongest love. These are not flaws in Scorpio. They are the shadow side of a heart that feels too deeply for this world. To love a Scorpio is to embrace the full spectrum of their emotions and to stand firm in the face of their darkest fears. If you can, you will earn a love of rare and powerful depth. If you cannot, the waves will pull you under. In our next episode, we will continue this exploration, delving into the relentless loyalty Scorpio demands and the subtle emotional manipulation they may wield without even realizing it. I'll see you in part 4. This is the path to Buddhist wisdom. Your journey continues. Welcome back to the path to Buddhist wisdom and to part 4 of our series, 21 Dark Truths About Loving a Scorpio. If you have come this far, you already know, loving a Scorpio is not for the weak of heart. Their love is powerful, consuming, and shadowed with truths few dare to face. Today, we continue this path by unveiling 2 more dark truths that define the Scorpio relationship experience. And these truths strike at the very core of Scorpio's emotional nature. Dark truth number 5. Scorpio never forgets and rarely forgives. You may hear the phrase, forgive and forget, but it does not exist in the Scorpio world. Scorpio remembers everything, every word spoken in anger, every broken promise, every betrayal, large or small. Their memory is razor sharp, and it is not selective. Even when they appear calm on the surface, old wounds remain alive beneath. This is not because Scorpio is petty or vindictive. It is because they feel deeply, and deep feelings do not fade easily. Forgiveness may come, but it is hard-won, and even when given, the memory lingers. It colors future interactions, influencing trust and intimacy in ways you may never fully grasp. For a partner, this can be difficult. A single mistake, long buried in your mind, may resurface at the worst moment. A past hurt may silently shape today's emotions, even when words say otherwise. Loving a Scorpio demands integrity, consistency, and a deep respect for their emotional history. Once trust is broken, earning it back is a mountain few are willing or able to climb. Ask yourself, can you honor Scorpio's depth of memory? Can you live with the understanding that every action, every choice, leaves an imprint that may never fade? Dark truth number 6. They crave power in relationships. Beneath Scorpio's passion and loyalty lies a powerful drive, the craving for control. Scorpio is a fixed sign ruled by Pluto, the planet of power and transformation. And in relationships, this energy manifests in a deep need to influence the emotional dynamic. They want to know you fully. They want to shape the flow of your connection, not out of malice, but because vulnerability terrifies them, and control offers safety. This can be intoxicating. Scorpio's leadership, their emotional intelligence, their protective instincts, all create a sense of security and depth few partners can resist. But it can also become suffocating. As Scorpio seeks to control the pace of intimacy, the flow of trust, even the nature of your emotional responses, you may feel trapped in a dynamic where your freedom is subtly eroded. This is not always conscious. Scorpio does not seek to dominate for dominance's sake, but their fear of losing control, of being betrayed, of falling too deeply without safeguards, drives them to maintain unseen reins on the relationship. Ask yourself, can you maintain your sense of self while loving someone who craves such power? Can you negotiate a relationship where emotional dynamics are a constant undercurrent of control and surrender? Closing part 4. To love a Scorpio is to accept that the past is never truly past. They remember They rarely forgive completely, and they will shape the emotional landscape of your relationship in ways both protective and possessive. These truths are not flaws. They are the shadows that walk beside Scorpio's immense capacity for love. If you can embrace them and hold your own ground, you may discover a bond of unparalleled depth and loyalty. If you cannot, the weight of memory and power will slowly erode what once felt eternal. In our next episode, we will explore two more dark truths: the depth of Scorpio's jealousy and their dangerous tendency to push you to emotional extremes. I'll see you in part 5. This is the path to Buddhist wisdom. Your journey continues. Welcome back to the path to Buddhist wisdom and to part 5 of our series, 21 Dark Truths About Loving a Scorpio. By now, you understand, loving a Scorpio is no ordinary experience. Their love burns bright, but it also casts deep shadows. Today, we uncover two more of these shadows, truths that many who love a Scorpio know all too well, though they may struggle to name them. Dark truth number 7. Scorpio's jealousy runs deep. Few signs feel jealousy as deeply or as destructively as Scorpio. This is not surface-level envy. It is a visceral, primal response born from Scorpio's intense emotional investment in those they love. When Scorpio loves, they love completely. They bond at a soul level. And any perceived threat to that bond, real or imagined, can trigger jealousy that is swift, fierce, and difficult to soothe. A glance, a friendly conversation, a slight shift in attention, all can awaken the sleeping dragon of Scorpio jealousy. At first, it may manifest as subtle tension, quiet questions, or a sudden change in mood. But if left unchecked, it can spiral, leading to suspicion, possessiveness, or even emotional withdrawal. This jealousy is not about control. It is about fear of losing something they value above all else. For partners, navigating this jealousy requires immense patience and emotional intelligence. Reassurance must be consistent. Boundaries must be clear. Transparency must be absolute. Ask yourself, can you handle the intensity of a love so deep that even imagined threats can shake its foundation? Can you remain steady in the storm of Scorpio's jealousy without losing your own balance? Dark truth number 8. They will push you to the edge emotionally. To love a Scorpio is to be challenged again and again. Scorpio does not seek comfortable relationships. They seek truth, depth, transformation. And to reach these, they will push you emotionally, mentally, sometimes even spiritually. They will test your limits, not out of cruelty, but out of a deep desire to know your soul completely. They want to see how you handle pressure, how you navigate conflict, how you reveal your truest self when the mask is stripped away. This emotional pushing can be exhilarating. It can lead to profound growth and intimacy, but it can also be exhausting, even overwhelming, for partners unprepared for Scorpio's intensity. You may find yourself questioning your values, confronting old wounds, or facing fears you thought long buried. You may feel as if you are constantly dancing on the edge of emotional extremes. And Scorpio, they will be watching, not to break you, but to understand you, to see if you can meet them at the depth where true connection lives. Ask yourself, are you willing to be pushed beyond your emotional comfort zone? Can you face your own shadows, not just Scorpio's, and emerge stronger for it? Because with Scorpio, love is not a safe harbor. It is a crucible, one that transforms or destroys. Closing part 5. Jealousy that runs deep as the sea. Emotional challenges that push you to your very edge. These are not warnings to fear Scorpio love. They are truths to understand. For those strong enough to face them, Scorpio offers a love of unparalleled depth and devotion. For those who cannot, these very traits will become the waves that pull them under. In our next episode, we will explore two more dark truths: why Scorpio demands absolute loyalty, and how their gift for emotional manipulation can quietly shape the relationship. I'll see you in part 6. This is the path to Buddhist wisdom. Your journey continues. Welcome back to the path to Buddhist wisdom and to part 6 of our series, 21 Dark Truths About Loving a Scorpio. If you have followed this path so far, you know loving a Scorpio is not simple. It is not safe. It is a journey through the deepest currents of human emotion. Today, we continue this journey by exploring two more dark truths that lie at the heart of every Scorpio relationship. To love a Scorpio, you must face them or be consumed by them. Dark truth number 9. Scorpio demands absolute loyalty. For Scorpio, loyalty is not optional. It is the foundation upon which everything else stands. They do not simply desire loyalty, they demand it. And not just in words, but in action, in thought, in presence. To a Scorpio, betrayal is the ultimate wound. A breach of trust is a scar that may never fully heal. Even small doubts, inconsistencies, half-truths, emotional distance can shake the very core of their connection. This demand for loyalty can be beautiful. You will know that when you are with a Scorpio, they will stand by you fiercely. They will fight for you. They will protect you. They will remain unwavering, as long as they believe you are true to them. But the price of this loyalty is constant vigilance. You must be aware that Scorpio is always watching, always sensing the subtle shifts in your words, your actions, your energy. And if they perceive disloyalty, whether justified or imagined, the consequences are swift and severe. Their love may turn to ice. Their trust may vanish overnight. And the bond you once shared may be lost forever. Ask yourself, can you meet Scorpio's demand for absolute loyalty? Can you offer a heart so unwavering that even Scorpio's deepest fears will not find cause to doubt? Because if you cannot, this love will not survive. Dark truth number 10. They are experts at emotional manipulation. Beneath Scorpio's intensity lies a gift few acknowledge openly: mastery of emotional manipulation. This is not always conscious. It is not always malicious, but it is undeniable. Scorpio understands emotions, theirs and yours, with remarkable depth. They read the unspoken currents beneath your words. They sense your weaknesses, your desires, your fears. And when they want to, whether to protect themselves, to test you, or to maintain control, they can subtly shape the emotional dynamic of the relationship. A glance, a silence, a carefully chosen word, a shift in tone that draws you closer or pushes you away. You may not even realize it is happening, but in time, you may find yourself reacting not to the reality of the relationship, but to the emotional web Scorpio has woven around it. This is not evil. It is instinct. It is how Scorpio survives in a world that often feels too raw, too dangerous for their sensitive heart. But for partners, it can be challenging. You must maintain a strong sense of self. You must be able to step back, to question, to ensure that your emotional responses remain your own. Ask yourself, can you navigate the subtle currents of a relationship where emotional dynamics are constantly at play? Can you remain clear, centered, and true to yourself, even when Scorpio's influence pulls at your heart? Because if you cannot, you may lose yourself long before you lose Scorpio. Closing part 6. To love a Scorpio is to enter a world where loyalty is demanded and where the emotional landscape is shaped by forces both seen and unseen. These are not flaws. They are the natural expressions of a heart that feels too deeply, that trusts too carefully, that fears betrayal more than anything. If you can embrace these truths, if you can meet Scorpio with unwavering loyalty and grounded awareness, you may discover a bond unlike any other. If you cannot, the shadows will claim you long before the light. In our next episode, we will explore 2 more dark truths: why Scorpio's moods are so unpredictable and intense, and why they can see through every lie, even those you tell yourself. I'll see you in part 7. This is the path to Buddhist wisdom. Your journey continues. Welcome back to the path to Buddhist wisdom and to part 7 of our series, 21 Dark Truths About Loving a Scorpio. By now, you have seen the patterns emerge. Loving a Scorpio is a journey through passion, loyalty, power, and fear. But even knowing this, there are shadows yet to explore, shadows that shape every day you spend with this intense sign. Today, we uncover 2 more truths that reveal why loving a Scorpio is both magnetic and maddening. Dark truth number 11. Scorpio's moods can be unpredictable and intense. Scorpio's emotional depth is well known, but what many partners do not anticipate is how rapidly and how intensely those emotions can shift. A Scorpio may seem calm one moment and burning with unspoken feeling the next. They may be playful and open, then suddenly withdrawn and impenetrable. These mood shifts are not manipulative. They are the natural result of living with emotions that run deeper than most can fathom. Scorpios feel life intensely. They absorb energies around them. They replay conversations in their minds. They battle inner conflicts that others may never see. And when the tides of their emotions turn, the shift can be sudden and bewildering for their partner. One moment, you may feel completely connected. The next, as if you are speaking to a stranger behind walls of silence. For partners, navigating these moods requires patience, resilience, and deep self-awareness. You must learn not to take each shift personally, while still honoring the emotional reality Scorpio is experiencing. Ask yourself, can you weather the storm of Scorpio's moods without losing your own center? Can you stand firm in love, even when the emotional winds turn suddenly cold? Because if you cannot, loving a Scorpio will feel like living on a fault line. Dark truth number 12. They see through all lies instantly. If you think you can deceive a Scorpio, think again. Scorpios are born truth seekers. Their intuition is razor sharp. Their perception cuts through masks and half-truths like a blade. They read body language. They sense shifts in tone. They feel the dissonance between your words and your energy. And when they sense deception, even the smallest kind, their trust fractures immediately. You may not even realize you've lied. A white lie to spare their feelings. An omission to avoid conflict. But to Scorpio, every lie, no matter how small, is a violation of trust. And once that trust is damaged, rebuilding it is an uphill battle few win. This gift of perception can be a blessing. With a Scorpio, you will rarely live in a relationship clouded by illusion. But it is also a burden. You must be willing to live with radical honesty, with them and with yourself. Ask yourself, can you embrace a relationship where authenticity is demanded at every turn? Can you face the truths Scorpio will inevitably uncover, even the ones you hide from yourself? Because with Scorpio, there is no safe lie, only the unyielding light of their insight. Closing part 7. Moods that shift like the tide. Perception that pierces through every lie. To love a Scorpio is to live exposed, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. If you can embrace this exposure, if you can stand in the light of Scorpio's unwavering insight, you may discover a love that transforms you in ways no other can. If you cannot, you will find the very intensity that draws you and will be the force that drives you away. In our next episode, we will explore 2 more dark truths: why Scorpio insists on controlling the pace of the relationship, and how they thrive on emotional power dynamics. I'll see you in part 8. This is the path to Buddhist wisdom. Your journey continues. Welcome back to the path to Buddhist wisdom and to part 8 of our series, 21 Dark Truths About Loving a Scorpio. As we journey deeper, you have begun to see the true nature of Scorpio love. It is powerful, consuming, and shaped by forces many never understand, until it is too late. Today, we explore 2 more truths that reveal why loving a Scorpio often feels like entering a world where you are no longer in control. Dark truth number 13. Scorpio controls the pace of the relationship. One of the most unsettling truths about loving a Scorpio is this: they control the pace, always. Whether consciously or instinctively, Scorpio dictates how fast or slow the relationship unfolds. When they want intimacy, it comes in waves. When they need space, you may find yourself locked out emotionally, left waiting in silence. This control is not about games. It is about survival. Scorpio feels emotions with such intensity that they must regulate the flow of connection to avoid being overwhelmed or exposed. If you push for more than they are ready to give, they will retreat. If you pull away when they open up, they will close the door, perhaps permanently. For many partners, this dynamic can be maddening. You may feel constantly off balance, unsure whether to lean in or hold back. You may question your own instincts, trying to match a rhythm that is not yours to set. Ask yourself, can you surrender control of the pace? Can you trust Scorpio enough to follow where they lead, without resentment, without fear? Because if you cannot, the dance will falter. And once a Scorpio senses that your trust is brittle, the bond will begin to crack. Dark truth number 14. They thrive on emotional power dynamics. To love a Scorpio is to enter a relationship where emotional power is always in play. This is not manipulation in the crude sense. It is an instinctive drive, a deep-seated need to understand, influence, and shape the emotional landscape of the bond. Scorpio thrives on intensity. They crave deep connection, but also subtle control. They want to know what moves you, what scares you, what lights you up, and they will use this knowledge, sometimes consciously, sometimes not, to maintain an emotional edge. This can create a dynamic where you feel both drawn in and held captive. The highs are intoxicating, the lows are crushing, and through it all, Scorpio holds the invisible threads of emotional influence. For partners, navigating this dynamic requires strength and clarity. You must know yourself deeply. You must guard your emotional sovereignty, not by resisting Scorpio's pull entirely, but by engaging consciously with awareness. Ask yourself, can you hold your own in an emotional landscape where power is always shifting? Can you engage with Scorpio's depth without becoming a pawn in their silent game of influence? Because if you cannot, you may find yourself dancing to a tune you did not choose, until one day, you no longer recognize the person you have become. Closing part 8. A love where you do not set the pace. A bond shaped by unseen emotional currents. To love a Scorpio is to surrender, not your freedom, but your illusions of control. It is to engage with a force that will test your strength, your clarity, your very sense of self. If you can navigate this dance with open eyes and steady heart, you may discover a connection of unparalleled depth and power. If you cannot, the very currents that drew you in will become the undertow that pulls you under. In our next episode, we will explore 2 more dark truths: why Scorpio may withdraw emotionally without warning, and how they use silence as a weapon. I'll see you in part 9. This is the path to Buddhist wisdom. Your journey continues. Welcome back to the path to Buddhist wisdom and to part 9 of our series, 21 Dark Truths About Loving a Scorpio. By now, you have seen the patterns of Scorpio love, the intensity, the control, the unspoken tests, the shifting tides of emotion. But even deeper lies a force few understand. The way Scorpio uses emotional withdrawal and silence to maintain both protection and power. Today, we uncover 2 more truths that reveal why loving a Scorpio is as much about navigating absence as it is about embracing presence. Dark truth number 15. Scorpio can be emotionally withdrawing without warning. One of the most disorienting experiences of loving a Scorpio is this: they can disappear emotionally, with no warning, no explanation, no clear path back. You may feel deeply connected one day, only to wake the next to a wall of cold distance. The words may be kind, the gestures polite, but the emotional current is gone. This withdrawal is rarely random. It is a defense mechanism, triggered when Scorpio feels overwhelmed, threatened, or simply in need of space to process their turbulent inner world. They may retreat because of a perceived slight. They may withdraw to test your patience and loyalty, or they may simply need solitude to restore their emotional equilibrium. For partners, this can be agonizing. The sudden absence feels like rejection. The silence leaves you questioning everything: your worth, your actions, the future of the relationship. Yet pressing Scorpio for answers during these periods often backfires. The more you chase, the further they retreat. The key is understanding that this withdrawal is not about you, it is about them. And only by respecting their need for space, while remaining grounded and present, can you weather the storm. Ask yourself, can you endure the ebb and flow of Scorpio's emotional tides? Can you remain centered when they pull away, without succumbing to fear or resentment? Because if you cannot, the cycle of withdrawal and conflict may consume you both. Dark truth number 16. They use silence as a weapon. Scorpio's most subtle and most devastating weapon is silence. When wounded, angered, or uncertain, Scorpio often chooses silence over confrontation. Not out of weakness, but because silence gives them power. In silence, they control the emotional narrative. In silence, they force you to confront your own guilt, your own insecurities, your own longing for resolution. A single stretch of Scorpio silence can erode even the strongest partner's resolve. The absence of words becomes a mirror, reflecting every fear, every doubt, every imagined failure. And Scorpio knows this. They wield silence not to destroy, but to protect and to test. They watch how you respond. Do you lash out? Do you withdraw in turn? Do you collapse into desperation? Each reaction reveals more to them than any conversation ever could. For partners, surviving Scorpio's silence requires profound self-awareness and emotional strength. You must resist the urge to chase, to beg, to fill the void with frantic words. Instead, you must stand in your truth, calmly, patiently, until Scorpio chooses to return. Ask yourself, can you endure the weight of Scorpio's silence without losing yourself? Can you hold space for their withdrawal without sacrificing your own dignity? Because if you cannot, the very silence they wield may unravel the bond you fight to preserve. Closing part 9. Emotional withdrawal without warning. Silence used as both shield and sword. To love a Scorpio is to dance with absence as much as with presence, to navigate not only their words, but the spaces between them. If you can hold your ground through these shadows, you may earn a love deeper and more resilient than any you have known. If you cannot, the silence will speak louder than any words, and may be the voice that ends the story. In our next episode, we will explore 2 more dark truths: why Scorpios' need for depth can exhaust some partners, and why they guard a secret side they may never fully reveal. I'll see you in part 10. This is the path to Buddhist wisdom. Your journey continues. Welcome back to the path to Buddhist wisdom and to part 10 of our series, 21 Dark Truths About Loving a Scorpio. As we journey deeper into the Scorpio heart, one truth becomes clear. Loving a Scorpio is not light or casual. It is a path of depth, of shadow, of unrelenting emotional intensity. And for many partners, this depth and the secrets it hides can be as exhausting as it is intoxicating. Today, we uncover 2 more truths that reveal why loving a Scorpio is a challenge few are truly prepared to face. Dark truth number 17. Scorpio's need for depth is exhausting for some partners. Scorpio does not do surface-level love. They do not tolerate shallow connection, casual conversation, or relationships that remain safely on the surface. They want to know you, all of you, your hopes, your fears, your deepest wounds. They want to explore the layers of your psyche that you may not have explored yourself, and they expect you to meet them there. For many partners, this is thrilling at first. The sense of being truly seen, truly understood, is addictive. But over time, the relentless need for depth can become exhausting. You may find yourself yearning for lightness, for moments of ease and simplicity. You may feel the weight of always being on, of always being emotionally present and available. But with Scorpio, depth is not optional. If you retreat to the surface, if you begin to withhold your inner world, they will sense it, and the connection will begin to unravel. Ask yourself, can you live in a space of constant emotional depth? Can you sustain the intensity of a relationship where every conversation, every moment, holds the potential for profound transformation? Because if you cannot, you will find yourself longing for air in a world built beneath the waves. Dark truth number 18. They have a dark, secretive side they'll never fully share. No matter how deeply you connect with a Scorpio, there will always be parts of them you will never reach. Scorpio carries within them a dark, secretive side, a realm of thoughts, emotions, and experiences they guard with fierce loyalty. It is not a lack of trust. It is not an absence of love. It is simply who they are. Some of these secrets are born of past wounds. Some are driven by a need for personal sovereignty. Some are simply too dark, too raw, too sacred to be shared, even with those they love most. And the harder you press to uncover these hidden parts, the more they will retreat behind their inner walls. For partners, accepting this truth is one of the greatest challenges of loving a Scorpio. The desire to know them fully is powerful, but to truly love them, you must respect their right to keep certain depths untouched. Ask yourself, can you love someone knowing that parts of them will always remain beyond your reach? Can you honor the mystery of their inner world without needing to possess it fully? Because if you cannot, your longing will become resentment, and the bond you cherish will begin to fracture under the weight of unmet demands. Closing part 10. A love that demands constant depth. A heart that guards unspoken shadows. To love a Scorpio is to dance with the unseen, to embrace both the intimacy they offer and the mystery they will never fully surrender. If you can accept this, if you can love without needing to own every part of them, you may discover a connection richer and more profound than any you have known. If you cannot, the depths you once craved may become the depths in which you lose yourself. In our next episode, we will explore 2 more dark truths. Why Scorpio's love can turn into obsession, and how their shadow side is always lurking beneath the surface. I'll see you in part 11. This is the path to Buddhist wisdom. Your journey continues. Welcome back to the path to Buddhist wisdom and to part 11 of our series, 21 Dark Truths About Loving a Scorpio. As we near the end of this journey, the shadows grow deeper, the truths more confronting, the price of loving a Scorpio more fully revealed. And today, we confront one of the most powerful and most dangerous truths of all. Dark truth number 19. Scorpios' love can turn into obsession. No one loves like a Scorpio. Their love is deep, total, consuming. When they give their heart, they give it without reservation, without limit, without fear of depth. But this very intensity holds a dark potential, the potential for obsession. At first, this love feels like a gift. You will be adored, cherished, seen in ways no one else has seen you. You will feel as if you are the center of their universe. And you may become addicted to this depth of attention. But beneath the devotion lies the shadow. When Scorpio's emotional investment crosses a certain threshold, love can become possession. Longing can become fixation. The need to connect can become a need to control. Suddenly, the boundaries between love and obsession blur. They may want to know your every thought, your every move. They may struggle to tolerate your independence, your friendships, your need for solitude. They may interpret distance as betrayal and respond with jealousy, suspicion, or emotional intensity that overwhelms. For partners, this shift can be both seductive and suffocating. The very attention that once made you feel cherished may now feel like a cage. And yet, pulling away risks triggering even greater obsession. Scorpio does not release easily. They love with claws and teeth, with a grip that does not soften simply because the object of their love withdraws. Navigating this dynamic requires immense emotional intelligence and unwavering boundaries. You must be able to hold space for Scorpio's depth without losing your own autonomy. Ask yourself, can you maintain your center in the face of love that seeks to consume? Can you set boundaries with compassion and enforce them with strength? Because if you cannot, you may find yourself caught in a web of obsession that feels impossible to escape. And Scorpio, they will love you to the end, even if that end means burning everything to ash. Closing part 11. A love that can transform into obsession. A devotion so deep it threatens to devour. To love a Scorpio is to walk this razor's edge, to embrace the passion without succumbing to the possession. If you can navigate this path with grace and strength, you will earn a love of rare and lasting depth. If you cannot, the fire that once warmed you may one day consume you whole. In our final episode, we will explore the last two dark truths: why Scorpio's shadow side is always lurking beneath the surface, and why you will never fully own a Scorpio, no matter how deep your love. I'll see you in part 12. This is the path to Buddhist wisdom. Your journey continues. Welcome back to the path to Buddhist wisdom and to part 12, the final chapter of our series, 21 Dark Truths About Loving a Scorpio. If you have traveled with us this far, you already know, to love a Scorpio is to walk a path few dare to tread. A path of intensity, depth, passion, and shadow. And as we conclude this journey, we explore the two final truths that define why loving a Scorpio is both a gift and a lifelong challenge. Dark truth number 20. Scorpio's shadow side is always lurking. No matter how deep your connection, no matter how strong your love, one truth remains. Scorpio's shadow side is always present, always waiting beneath the surface. This is not a flaw. It is part of their essence. Ruled by Pluto, the planet of death, transformation, and rebirth, Scorpio lives in constant awareness of life's darker currents. They do not fear the shadow. They know its power. They have learned to walk with it, and at times, to wield it. But for their partners, this can be unsettling. You may witness flashes of possessiveness, jealousy, or emotional intensity that seem to come from nowhere. You may feel the presence of old wounds, old fears, old patterns that never fully fade. And when Scorpio is wounded, when trust is broken, when fears are triggered, the shadow emerges with full force. They may become cold, withdrawn, sharp with words, or devastating in silence. They may test your love in ways you never expected. To love a Scorpio is to accept this truth, to love not just their light, but the darkness they carry as well. Ask yourself, Can you embrace a love where the shadow is always present? Can you honor the whole of Scorpio, not just the parts that are easy to love? Because if you cannot, the shadow will one day become the wedge that tears you apart. Dark truth number 21. You will never fully own a Scorpio, and that is their power. Perhaps the hardest truth of all. No matter how deep your love, no matter how strong your bond, you will never fully own a Scorpio. They may give you their loyalty, their passion, their time and devotion, but their core, their deepest self, remains theirs alone. Scorpio is a sign of power, of sovereignty, of transformation, and no matter how much they love you, they will always preserve a part of themselves that no one, not even their closest partner, can claim. For some, this is maddening. The desire to possess, to fully merge, to know every inch of the beloved, runs deep. But with Scorpio, this is impossible. Their power lies in their mystery, in their ability to remain whole and sovereign within the bond. And paradoxically, it is this very quality that keeps the love alive. To love a Scorpio, you must release the need to possess. You must honor their freedom, even as they bind themselves to you in ways others never could. Ask yourself, can you love someone without seeking to own them? Can you stand in the presence of their power without trying to diminish it? Because if you can, you will earn a love that is fierce, loyal, and endlessly transformative. If you cannot, the very need to possess will be the force that drives them away. Closing part 12, series conclusion. And so we come to the end of this journey. 21 dark truths. 21 shadows that define the path of loving a Scorpio. We have explored the depths of their passion, the tests of their trust, the tides of their moods, the power of their silence, the challenges of their intensity, and the truth of their sovereignty. To love a Scorpio is to walk a path of courage, to face not only their shadows, but your own. And if you can meet them in this space, with strength, with integrity, with a heart open to both light and dark, you will discover a love unlike any other. A love that transforms, that awakens, that binds and frees in equal measure. But if you cannot, know this: it is better to walk away with respect than to stay and be consumed by forces you cannot control. Thank you for walking this path with me. If you found value in this series, I invite you to subscribe to the Path to Buddhist Wisdom. We will continue to explore the depths of love, of self, of transformation, together. Until next time, walk wisely, love deeply, and never fear the shadows. This is the Path to Buddhist Wisdom. Your journey continues.